actually see if this is working. Okay, that's fun. I love not seeing things over here. I think we're good. I think it's kind of running slow here, so I don't exactly know if I'm good or not. But hopefully we are. Alright, I think we are technically good. Let me just do a couple things here like I usually do. Oh man. We'll have to make this as quick as we possibly can. Because I ain't even gonna lie, I cannot be here that long. What are you doing? Yep. Yeah. I could put that too. Alright. Sorry about this. Give me a minute, guys. Oy. It's always the same. And next for this. How you doing? There you go. I might have this on just in case. Oy. Technically, I shouldn't even be here doing this, but I want to give something out today. Between now and Sunday, I gotta at least try to put something up here. At least that's how I feel about it. Well, you are a lot louder than I thought you were. I will probably just have to deal with it however it is. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Hope you guys are enjoying your week. I'm going to have to make this as quickly as possible because I'm gonna be honest, I cannot talk that much. Cannot even get loud. You won't be hearing a lot of yelling, a lot of talking. I'm gonna probably just be about as loud as this, maybe a little bit louder. But I do want to be able to give my takes this week, so I will look to do so. I'd love to stay on long, but I really shouldn't be talking for a long period of time. So I will at least try to get my take out for this game between the Ravens and Bills, and then we'll go from there. Oh man. So Bills come into Baltimore for Sunday Night Football. It's gonna be blackout in Baltimore, so this should be a good matchup. Should be an exciting matchup. Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen, two of the best quarterbacks in the game today, going at it. It's always a fun time when we go up against the Bills, just because we know that's just such a fun matchup for the most part. You sound sick. Hope you feel better. I'm not sick. Unfortunately, I had an operation, so I kept my wisdom teeth on a little bit too long. Let's just say that for the most part. I kept my wisdom teeth on a little bit too long, and so I had to get them pulled out. All of my wisdom teeth. I had that operation on Tuesday. It's been a lot of pain over the last 48 hours to deal with that. And if you see with my face right now, it's like, especially right here, it's completely puffed up. I'm still swollen. Just dealing with that, so cannot really talk that loud. So you're not gonna see me get loud like that. I can't talk that much, so I just gotta deal with it. Hopefully by Sunday, I should be fine. You know, I will say, if you're gonna get your wisdom, for those of you that have not gotten your wisdom teeth done, you have your own choice as to how you're gonna do it for the most part. If you don't like to be sedated, I'd probably just take what I did. I did the numbing thing. So they just take, they like inject your gums with Novocaine, just numb it out, and then they just do the operation. The operation's an hour, so I was conscious when they were doing it, and that was not a fun experience. Never want to relive something like that again, but yeah, they pulled the teeth out and just dealing with the after effects. But it is what it is. We all got to do it at some point. So if you got it done when you were younger, congratulations. If you haven't got it done yet and you need to get it done, yeah, get on it as quickly as possible. The longer you wait, the worse it's gonna get. And I waited until the last second. So yeah, definitely dealing with some pain. But it's been 2 days, so I am at least able to talk. Can't really like open my mouth that widely, and I can't really yell like that because I don't want to. I got stitching in my gums. I don't want to like ruin that as well because I have to let those heal up. So, um, for the most part, I'm just trying to just manage that as much as I can. But yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time here. I want to give my take on the Ravens and the Bills. So yeah, Buffalo coming down to Baltimore, Sunday Night Football. This is gonna be a great matchup. I look at this matchup and say it's a must-win game for the Ravens. I feel like the Ravens have to treat this game like a playoff game because it's gonna be a playoff environment. You know, last week against Dallas was somewhat of a playoff environment because it felt like we needed to win that game. We felt it was a must-win game. You go down 0-3 in the season, it's going to be a problem. And we were very close to going down 0-3 to the Cowboys, who are playing the Giants right now. I expect the Cowboys to dominate the Giants. I don't think anyone expects the Giants to win that game, but who knows? Maybe New York pulls up the upset. But you were very close to going down 0-3 to the Dallas Cowboys, but you were able to hold on. You pretty much won that game because of Lamar and Derrick Henry, so shout out to those guys. And you're going to need those guys to show up on Sunday night because you're not beating the Bills without these guys playing their A game. Buffalo right now is off to a 3-0 start, and they're playing some incredible football right now. Now, of course, just like every fan does, and all the fans do in the NFL, we always like to sit back and nitpick how the games go. So when they take a look at the Buffalo Bills, they're like, who did you specifically beat? They'll look at week 1 in Arizona. Arizona was not seen as a good team coming into the season. Even though Kyler Murray was back, people didn't know what to expect from Kyler Murray and how he would look. So the fact that he looked pretty damn good against that Bills defense made people think, okay, that's not that big of a win or that impressive a win, especially since they were down huge in that first game. But they came back and won. People didn't look at that Cardinals game as an impressive win for the Bills. Week 2 against the Dolphins, again, people will try to take away from what the Bills did because they always beat the Dolphins. They've been beating the Dolphins for years, and Tua got knocked out of this game, so how impressive was it? But I would argue, they dominated. Last year, they were barely beating these guys. This year, they dominated the Dolphins. That was a clear domination, but people will try to take it away from the Bills, however you look at it. And then, of course, week 3 last week on Monday Night Football, you're going up against the Jaguars. Jaguars are not seen as a great team right now. They've been really bad. They've been bad since October of last year. They've been reeling. Not October, November of last year. They've been reeling. They haven't looked great. People are looking at Trevor Lawrence and saying he's just as bad as Daniel Jones, and the numbers technically show that he's been just as productive as Daniel Jones, which isn't that much of a great thing. So, yeah, people have been trying to take away wins from the Bills, but I feel like the Bills have been impressive so far, especially defensively. Offensively, I never had any concerns about them. Yes, losing Stephon Diggs, a weapon, sucks, and Davis went away as well, so you were dealing with all new weapons, but Josh Allen's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. People just have this idea that Stephon Diggs made Josh Allen, and that's not the case. He gave Josh Allen a great weapon to utilize as Josh Allen was starting to emerge. But Josh Allen had to put in the work and develop his game. Diggs wasn't saving him on plays. Josh Allen spent 2 to 3 years developing his game in order to become the quarterback he is today. That wasn't a Stephon Diggs thing. That was a Josh Allen thing in terms of improving. So now that he no longer has Diggs, this idea that the Bills' offense was going to be bad or trash, I don't know where you were getting that from. Josh Allen's still one of the best quarterbacks in the game. He was going to ball out regardless. So I was not surprised to see Josh Allen doing well to start off the season. I was a bit surprised at seeing how the defense looked in certain situations, especially in these last 2 games. The defense has played really, really well because I didn't know how they were going to look coming off of all the injuries they had suffered last year. And the Bills' defense is looking good right now. They are really looking good right now. They're playing good football, and they're going to be troublesome. They are definitely going to be a problem for us to deal with this Sunday night. But again, I really like what I've seen from the Bills. People want to take away from the wins because of who they played, but good teams dominate bad teams or lesser opponents. They dominated the Dolphins. They dominated the Jaguars. Give them their credit. They dominated these two opponents. They deserve they deserve the position they're in. They're a great team. You're 3-0 undefeated. You give them that respect. And Josh Allen again is in the MVP conversation the same way he is every single year. So you give them their respect. So that's just how the situation is with Buffalo. When you look at our situation, it's a bit of mixed feelings for the most part. Obviously, week one, we lose to Kansas City by a toe. Came down to the wire. We're very close, but we just didn't get it done. Week two, we choke a 10-point lead at home against the Raiders. An embarrassing loss, but another example of John Harbaugh's somewhat incompetence and him doing the exact same thing over and over and over and over again. You just got to deal with it. That's a John Harbaugh classic for the most part, so it is what it is. And then you go to Dallas, dominate them for 3 quarters, and you almost blow a 22-point lead to the Cowboys, but you find a way to win at the end of the day. So that is a somewhat good thing for the most part. You got on the board with the win. That's cool. And now you got this game. This feels like a must-win game for the Ravens. You have a chance to get back to 500. Erase the first 2 games of mistakes. You get back to 500. Cincinnati's up next. And if you can win that game, you'll be 3-2. Like I was saying after the Raiders loss, if we can win these next 3 games, we'll be 3-2 after 5 games. What was our record after 5 games last season? 3-2. And the schedule somewhat softens up to an extent, depending on how you look at it after these next 2 games. So the Ravens do have to lock in. This is not going to be an easy game. This is not going to be one of those games you can just look at and say, oh yeah, we know who it is, but we're going to lock in and get it done. No. This is a tough team, and with the way the Ravens have played, it's been problematic. Offensively, there's been some moments of inconsistency for the most part. We still have question marks about the Ravens' offensive line, and the win against the Cowboys did not change any of that. I hope you guys realize that nobody was phased. Nobody changed their opinion. Nobody was sitting back and saying, oh, yeah, look at Faalele, look at Makari. Oh, they did everything right, man. Look at them blocking. First of all, we noticed that you guys were running a lot of 12 personnel. You primarily utilized both Andrews and Likely as extra blockers instead of pass catchers. You shifted everything to the left side of the offensive line and ran a lot of plays on the left side of the offensive line. We noticed that. And when you were in drop back, when it came to pass protection, when Lamar was dropping back, there was rarely any moments where we got to see that iteration in terms of pass protection. Now, in those few moments, we got to see Faalele play well. Makari looked solid. But it was so rare in that Cowboys game that it's not enough for us to sit back and think you could do that when Lamar Jackson drops back 30-plus times, which he will be doing a lot this season. So I don't know why everyone's just assuming automatically, oh, yeah. Or, I mean, not everyone assuming. I don't know why the Ravens are just thinking people are going to change their minds on this offensive line just because of the few good moments we saw with Faalele and Makari. No, I think Sunday night will be a much better outlook of how this offensive line looks. If they can press against the Bills, we'll give you your credit. But other than that, nah. But yeah, the offensive line's been inconsistent. The Ravens in the fourth quarter have been problematic. The weird part is week one against Kansas City, in the fourth quarter, they actually played some of their best football. They weren't that bad in the fourth quarter against the Chiefs, but against the Raiders, terrible. Against the Cowboys, just took their foot off the gas pedal. They've been conservative. They've been like really conservative, and it's been problematic for the Ravens for years now. They've been conservative in the fourth quarter. They'll get these huge leads, and then they'll just slow down and say, let's play not to lose instead of playing to win. And it's cost them so many games over the last 3 years, and it's an issue that continues to remain. I don't know why they don't have this mindset of continuing to run the score. Why can't you stay aggressive? I don't know why they don't have this mindset. In this era of football, you cannot play conservative. If you have a huge lead, you have to keep being aggressive. Why? Because teams can pull off comebacks. No lead is safe in the National Football League in this era. This is not the early 2010s. It's not the 2000s when you can get a 10, 15-point lead in the fourth quarter and you could just kill the clock, be conservative, and go home. That doesn't work in this era. Teams don't quit when they're down 2 or 3 scores in the fourth quarter. They'll keep fighting. So you have to continue to be aggressive. So really, the conservative play calling and the offensive line are the only 2 things I really look at from the Ravens offense that are still concerning. But other than that, Lamar's still Lamar. Derrick Henry is a monster, and the Ravens actually figured out how to utilize Derrick Henry. If that is how they're going to choose to use Derrick Henry, they're going to be an effective team running the football. I have to say this, and I'll probably speak more on this as the season goes on. The Ravens need to understand that the offense should not just pander only to Lamar Jackson. It needs to pander to both Lamar and Derek. You've got to pander to both. Lamar works, he operates best, it works best in the shotgun, with a back right next to him, to his left or to his right. That's how they've been running it. That's what is comfortable for Lamar. Lamar is perfectly fine going under center, but that's not the offense they've been running with him for years. And that's not the way he's been operating. He'd rather work in the shotgun than have to turn his back and hand the ball off. But at the same time, you've got a back in Derrick Henry that's like an old school back. And he works better when he's a downhill runner. So you run 12 personnel, you put yourself in the I formation, you turn and you hand the ball. That's where Derrick Henry can be his most effective. So the Ravens need to find that balance between pandering to Derrick Henry when he's on the field and pandering to Lamar when he's on the field. Do what works best for Henry and also do what works best for Lamar. If they can get that balance, you're going to be fine because those are the two that has to carry your offense. Lamar isn't just doing it alone this year. You got Lamar and Henry. Those two carry your offense. So you need those two to be put in situations where they can be their most effective. And that's the balance the Ravens have to figure out as the season goes on. They figured some of that out last week against the Cowboys. We'll see how they do against the Bills in this game. But other than that, I don't really have much concerns about the Ravens offense. They find ways to put up points on the board. I think they're going to continue to do that. It's defensively that the issues come in. And when you look at the defense, that's where the problem comes in. Now, surprisingly, the run defense has been fantastic. They're one of the best run defenses in football, but they haven't really faced a lot of top-tier backs if you look at it. To an extent. Now, I would say Pacheco, he played well. He played really well in week 1, and the Ravens defense did well against that. Week 2, you're not really dealing with the best of backs in that situation. But, it was fine. It was fine for the most part. And then week 3, again, you weren't dealing with the best of backs in that situation either. So the Ravens haven't dealt with a lot of great backs yet. And this week they'll deal with a better back than they had last week because Cook is a legitimate guy. So that is somebody they do have to focus and zone in on to try to stop the run. And they've been great at stopping the run. That's not the problem with the Ravens. The run defense has been great. The pass rush has been really solid. They just added Yannick Ngakoue. They brought him back to add that extra pass rush ability. So I think the pass rush is solid, and I think the run defense is great. The problem with the Ravens right now is their secondary, and it doesn't make sense. With the amount of talent they have in their secondary, they should not be performing this poor. For some random reason, the Ravens are unable to cover the middle of the field. I don't know why, but for some random reason, the Ravens, through 3 weeks of football, they have been unable to cover the middle of the field. And it is costing them in the biggest moments. I don't know what it is that is causing them, that is absolutely causing them to not be able to cover the middle of the field. But they can't. Roquan Smith is being put in a bad situation, bro. He can't cover these guys. He doesn't have the speed to keep up with these guys. They're having Roquan Smith out there in pass coverage, and he's getting cooked every single time. The quarterbacks are just throwing the football over his head, and when it comes to underneath, he's not fast enough to keep up with some of these speedsters. The Ravens have to make some adjustments with their secondary. They got to fix some things. One of the changes I would make is switch the positions between Roquan Smith and Trenton Simpson. Trenton Simpson should be the guy that's out there in coverage. You want Trenton Simpson in pass coverage. He has the speed and athleticism to keep up with these guys. Roquan doesn't. So I would switch those roles. Secondly, they got to switch something up in the secondary because they keep leaving people wide open. The Ravens' pass defense is one of the worst in football right now. They're one of the worst pass defenses in football. Dak Prescott nearly threw for 400 yards and had 3 touchdowns against them. It's unexcusable how poor their secondary has been. They were the best secondary in football last year. They were the best overall defense in football technically last year. And now you've got the biggest liability because their run defense is still great. The pass rush is still solid. It's right there with everybody else in the league. But their passing defense is awful. If you're going to let Dak go for nearly 400, do you know what Josh Allen's going to do on Sunday night? They've got adjustments to make, which brings me to the game. Offensively, I think we match up really well against the Bills. The Bills do a solid job in stopping the run, but they do have some glaring weaknesses. I believe they're giving about 4.6 or 4.7 yards per carry. This is an opportunity for the Ravens to run the ball. Now, granted, they're going to get at it. They do have the talent. They have the talent. They have the players. and the capability to be able to try to slow down Derrick Henry, but they're not the best at slowing down running backs. So I think the main aspect or main focus will have to be establishing the run with Derrick Henry. Because if Derrick Henry can rumble against this defense, you're going to have a very successful time offensively for the Ravens. So Derrick Henry has to be the main focus. And then when it comes to the passing game, if there's any week for the Ravens to figure out how to utilize their two tight ends, this has to be the week. I think if you're going to utilize a lot of Derrick Henry here, then you can initiate the passing game in that same situation. Utilize the passing game to get your tight ends involved. We saw early on in that Cowboys game where Lamar rolled out and just threw it to Kolar for 30 yards. You can do the exact same thing here. Yet the Ravens choose not to utilize their tight ends. They're just utilizing both Likely and Andrews as blockers right now instead of pass catchers. You've got to get your tight ends involved in this game. You've got to. Utilize Derrick Henry, utilize your tight ends, get the ball in the hands of your playmakers, and let them go make plays. My only concern for the Ravens offense really has to do with the offensive line in terms of how they're going to hold up against the pass rush of the Bills, because their pass rush has been really good. That's my only concern. But other than that, I believe the Ravens can put up points against this Bills defense. I believe the Ravens match up really well against the Bills defense, and I think that's going to lead to a lot of points scored for the Ravens. The problem is on the other side of the ball. We match up well against the Bills defense. The Bills offense matchups really well against our defense. It's cool that we can stop the run, but Josh Allen can air it out with the best of them. And with our secondary being burnt toast right now, and now leaving the middle of the field wide open, Josh Allen could very well throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns against us on Sunday night. The matchups work really well for them. There's advantages for both offense. This could be a high-scoring type of game. Who knows? So defensively, they're going to have to force Allen to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to work to some of your strengths. Unless this secondary magically fixes their problems in under a week, you're going to have to rely on your other aspects. Stopping the run with the run defense and getting to Allen with the pass rush. For the secondary, you're not going to stop him from airing it out, but you could find a way to force him to make mistakes. Josh Allen has played a very clean game to start off the season. He's played a very clean game, and it's led to the level of dominance that you've seen so far. He's played a really clean game, and that is what the Bills want to see. If the Ravens pass rush can make him uncomfortable, and the Ravens secondary can find a way to force Josh Allen to turn the ball over, they can make this a highly competitive game. They can make this a highly competitive game. So for me, keys to the offense, I would say you want to get Henry involved early on, especially initiate the run game with Derrick Henry, and then initiate the run game with Derrick Henry, and then proceed. Initiate the run game with Derrick Henry, and then proceed to get your playmakers involved in the pass game. Spread the wealth. Get Andrews and Likely involved. You've got tight ends for a reason. Spread the wealth. Get Andrews involved. Get Likely involved. Get Flowers involved. Get Bateman involved. We saw what Bateman did against the Cowboys. That was a nice route for him to get open. That's what he should have done week 1 against the Chiefs. If he would have cut back like that, Lamar would have found him easy for the touchdown. But he didn't do that week 1. He did it here. So it is what it is. But you have playmakers. Utilize your playmakers. Run the ball with Derrick Henry and get the ball in the hands of your pass catchers, as well as try to protect Lamar Jackson with this offensive line and don't turn the ball over. But that's what we say every week. Defensively, number one thing is forcing turnovers. I'm not even going to sit back and say stop the run. The Bills have a run game, but their strength in Buffalo isn't the running game. It's Josh Allen, the passing game. You've got to stop Josh Allen in the passing game, and that's the aspect that needs to be focused on. So how are you going to do that? Well, you're not going to stop him from airing it out against your secondary, so you have to force him to make mistakes. Keys to the game for the defense, force Josh Allen to be uncomfortable. So that starts with the pass rush getting to him. You force him to get uncomfortable, and then you force him to make mistakes. So force him to get uncomfortable by constantly being able to generate pressure without giving up a lot in the secondary. Generate pressure, make him uncomfortable, try to get to him and sack him. Force him to make mistakes, turning the ball over via fumbles, via interceptions. You've got to force him to turn the ball over. So you force him to be uncomfortable, you force him to make mistakes. Those are the two things you can look at. And if you can get both those things, it becomes an entirely different football game. I would say you want to stop the run, which is an aspect that they're definitely going to look to do. But again, Josh Allen is the main focus. When you go up against a quarterback like Josh Allen, the focus has to be on making him uncomfortable. Because when you make him uncomfortable, you force him to make mistakes. And if you force him to make mistakes, the game can go towards your side. So that's my keys to the game. Make Josh Allen uncomfortable, force him to make mistakes, look to stop the run, and then go from there. Because I'm not going to say stop the big plays. You're not stopping Josh Allen from making big plays, especially against this secondary. You're not stopping it. But you can force him to be uncomfortable. You can force him to make mistakes. You can make him uncomfortable and force him to make some bad mistakes. So that has to be the main focus. That has to be the main focus. And if the Ravens defense can do that, we'll be in a pretty good situation. So that's pretty much all I have. Keys for the game. With that being said, I think this is going to be a highly contested game. I don't trust the Ravens defense to try to make this a low defensive scoring game unless they show me something. If they're able to fix their issues in the secondary over a week, you got it. If we're sitting here Sunday night and the Ravens defense is shutting down the Bills offense, hey, all the power to you. If that secondary is just shutting down their receivers, all the power to you. But I have to see it to believe it, because right now the Ravens secondary is one of the worst in football. The pass rush is really solid, their run defense is great, but the secondary, one of the worst in the league. So if they want to shock us on Sunday night by getting it together and fixing whatever problems going on in the secondary, that would be great. But until I see it, I can't just make that assumption. So I just look at it and I say the secondary is probably going to be getting cooked all game by Josh Allen. They're not going to stop in the passing game. And if he wants to take off and run, he'll probably take off and run too. So that's going to be another problem for them to deal with. But I still think the Ravens offense matches up so well against the Bills defense that I think the Ravens offense will be right there with them. I think Lamar and Allen will just be going at it offensively. And I think it could be somewhat of a high scoring game. I think it's a situation that'll come down to the wire. I'm really close to picking the Bills to win this game, which is crazy for me to say. But I think it's just, I have to see the secondary play a great game for me to believe in them. And Josh Allen, his ability to throw the football, especially down the field, is dangerous. And if you're going to leave the middle of the field wide open, it's going to be a problem because they have tight ends to use. If you're going to leave Kincaid open in the middle of the field, you're just asking for Josh Allen to cook. So until I see them fix their issues, I expect Josh Allen to walk into the bank and put up a masterclass. But I also expect Lamar and Derrick Henry to put up a masterclass as well. That's where the conflicts come in, and that's why I think it can be somewhat of a high-scoring game. I'm thinking a 21. I'm thinking 31-28 type of situation here. I don't know who's gonna get 31 and who's gonna get 28. I could see a situation where Buffalo gets 31 and we get 28, but I don't know. I don't know who I want to pick in this game. I'm very indecisive. I just think it's gonna be a high-scoring game, but it'll be close. I might lean towards the Ravens here and say the Ravens win 31-28. But I think it's going to be a 31-28 type of game. I don't know. I might have to make this decision come Sunday. Right now, I think the final score will be around 31-28, but I don't know who's going to win the game. I just have to sleep on it. I think from now until Sunday, I'll have an idea of who I'm going to pick to win the game. But right now, I'm not fully confident in picking the Ravens to win this game, specifically because I don't trust the secondary to hold up against Josh Allen. And that's just where my conflicts comes in. If this secondary is able to fix their problems come Sunday night, we're having a different conversation here. If this was last year's defense, Ravens all the way. But this isn't last year's Ravens defense. This isn't last year's Ravens secondary with the way they were playing. It's not. This is not McDonald's defense. This is Zachary Orr's defense, and Zachary Orr is going to have to learn how to utilize those skill players in the secondary. And they're going to have to fix their issues right now. So it's difficult for me to say this, but I don't really have a concise answer here. I think it's a 31-28 game, but I just don't know if I can truly pick the Ravens to win this game. I don't know. That secondary concerns me right now. And until they fix that, that's where my problems are. So I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to let you guys make your choice in terms of how you think it's going to be. But I see it as a close game, 31, a high-scoring game, but a relatively high-scoring game, but a close game, 31-28. I think that'll be the final score. But I could see a scenario where it's 31 Bills, 28 Ravens. Last time we faced off against Buffalo, we blew a 17-point lead, and they beat us 23-20. Anything can happen in this situation. So, yeah, I think it'll be a close game. I can see it a high scoring game, but I think it will be a close game. And it'll come down to the wire, and we'll just see who does what in that situation. Come Sunday night, I'll have my answer, but right now I can't make a decisive decision as to who to pick. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say for the most part. I'm gonna look at some of these comments and get out of here for the most part. Um, just a few things here. I think everyone in the AFC North wants Andy Dalton to get his revenge. It'd be funny if the Panthers beat if the Panthers beat the Bengals and make the Bengals go 0-4. We need to come out of the Bengals stretch 3-2 going into the Commanders game. We can't talk about the Bengals game until we can beat the Bills. So hopefully we do that Sunday night. Ravens Flocks, I'm not even going to entertain a Super Bowl talk right now. This is not a team that should even be talking about Super Bowl. Nope, none of that. It will be a challenge facing the Ravens, but I think our coaching is better. I'll give you that. I believe the Bills' coaching right now is better than the Ravens' coaching. I will absolutely give you that. I think the Bills' coaching is better than the Ravens' coaching right now. I would agree with that. Which means there's a good chance Sean McDermott is going to outcoach John Harbaugh again. It is what it is. If the Bengals lose the Panthers, will there be another roasting video? I don't know. We try to do a talk about the AFC North every week, or at least we attempt to do a talk about the AFC North every week. So it's very possible we may have another roasting video, but I also have to see where my situation here with my gums. We'll see where my swelling is at that point Sunday. So we'll see how I'm feeling by then. But we might get another roasting video if they do lose to the Bengals. If the Bengals do lose to the Panthers. All the collapses over the years are a result of poor coaching. Harbaugh is the common denominator. But as a Steelers fan, please keep him around. Yeah, we know he's a problem. We've been saying it for years, but nothing's gonna change in Baltimore. They want to keep Harbaugh here, so nothing we can do about it. Team needs to play with that killer mentality. When the team is up, as Lamar says, they need to keep their foot on the gas pedal. You cannot just get a 10-point lead or a 15-point lead against the Bills and think they're just gonna stop playing. Not this team. The Cowboys wouldn't stop playing, so why would the Bills stop playing? You need to keep being aggressive. And if it results in nothing, so be it. But you need to keep your foot on the gas pedal. If you smell blood against this Bills team, you need to keep going after it. And you need to keep putting points on the board. Because Josh Allen's going to go out there every single possession and try to get them a touchdown. I hope Bengals go winless. It'd be funny if they did. About playing up tempo, especially on offense with speed. I could see them playing up tempo, but they don't really like to do that. Again, you have the fastest quarterback in the NFL, and you don't like to go up tempo and speed things up. I don't know. Sometimes the Ravens just do things that are conflicting and confusing. It is what it is at the end of the day. We're not really going to question it for the most part, I guess. I mean, we do question it, but they don't question it. It is what it is. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end it here. I can't be talking for long, and I tried to keep it as minimal as possible. But, it was a half-hour talk. It is what it is. Not that bad. So, I'm going to end it here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Ravens need to start establishing play action. They really should, especially you establish play action. If you can utilize 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, I'm in my mind, I'm thinking we need to run a lot more play action under center because Derrick Henry operates best there. And everyone knows when we get in that I formation, we're trying to hand the ball to Derrick Henry. Can you imagine if we're running an offense here? You got 12 personnel, likely on one side, Andrews on another side, Flowers on one side, Bateman on the other side. You've got Derrick Henry in the backfield. Do you know how many play action fakes we can do in that situation? Because they're going to think we're going to give it to Derrick Henry. You roll Lamar out, and then all of a sudden you're going to see a tight end that's cutting like this. Maybe it's Likely. Maybe it's Andrews. That's an easy first down. Maybe you got Bateman coming to the side. It's an easy first down. If we would initiate play action more out of 12 personnel, we'd be better. I've been seeing the vision for weeks now. I thought they would come in and run an offense like that with Derrick Henry. You would learn. That's what the Titans did. If you're going to have a Derrick Henry type player, do what the Titans were doing with him. I felt that should have been the case. But, the Ravens are doing what the Ravens are doing. And it felt like part of them were starting to see the vision because you saw that rollout play to Charlie Kolar, and then they ran another play action play that went to Bateman for a nice first down. If they can do more of that, not only does that set them up offensively, that gives Lamar extra time, which can take pressure off the offensive line. If they're not going to come out here and put Ben Cleveland and Roger Rosengarten in, and there's some struggles with the right side of the offensive line, roll Lamar out to his right and give him time to throw. That's just what I see, but, it is what it is with them. There's nothing you can do. Ravens are going to do whatever they want to do. So we'll just have to see how things go. Anyway, guys, I appreciate some of you tuning in. Sorry for this late Ravens Bills preview. I would have gotten this out earlier. Unfortunately, I couldn't even do the week 3 therapy session because I was in so much pain. I couldn't even come on I couldn't even come on camera and say what I wanted to say on screen. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't even speak for the first day. So it is what it is for the most part. But I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna be spending these next few days resting because I need to be here for Sunday night. I know I have to be here for Sunday night football. So I cannot sit back and like not rest and take care of this. So, next few days I'm gonna be resting. I'm gonna be doing what I need to do for the most part, just setting myself up and getting myself prepared and ready for Sunday night football. And hopefully by then, swelling will be down. I'll be able to talk. I'll be able to be louder, and we'll go. We'll be ready for that matchup. So hopefully I'll be ready to commentate over the game, and hopefully the Ravens will be ready to play. I don't know how this game's gonna go down, so we'll just have to wait and see for the most part. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stay safe. Peace out.